Okay guys, I'm making a quick tutorial to go over 1.25 revolutions, extrusions, and sketches. So you're going to create, so in Onshape, create a folder. I'm going to name this 1.25. I'm going to hit create. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to hit create and then document. And we will call this number 3 because that was step 3. Go ahead and bring up and so we're going to be drawing this little step right here. So it says step 3, use a sketch and 3D features tool to model the object represented by the multi-view drawing by following the steps provided. So we're going to sketch a 20 millimeter by 30 millimeter rectangle. So we're going to hit sketch. I'm going to click that front plane. And then I'm going to use this view cube to turn it around. I'm actually not entirely sure they call it a view cube in Onshape, but that's what we called it in Inventor. I'm going to create a rectangle. And again, I'm not really going to worry about what size it is right now because I'm going to hit dimension here and I'm going to dimension it. 20 millimeters. Enter. By 30 millimeters. And so now I have my rectangle. The next thing it says is to finish the sketch. So I'm going to hit my check mark to finish it. And it says to revolve the rectangle 360 degrees around the 30 millimeter side. So I'm going to come over here and instead of hitting extrude, I'm going to hit revolve. For revolve to work, you need to have a profile to revolve. So I'm going to click that. You need an axis to revolve it around, so a point that's going to revolve around, and I'm going to do this 30 millimeter side like it said, and finish, and I have made a little sketch here. So there it is. Now it says sketch a 10 millimeter square centered on the top of the cylinder. So I just created the cylinder. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to hit sketch. I'm going to click this top part here. And then kind of move it around to where I can. And so it says do a 10 millimeter square in the center of it. I'm going to hit a center point, rectangle, click, and we're going to dimension that. And we're going to dimension this rectangle 10, or I'm sorry, yeah, well it's a rectangle, but we're going to make it a square. 10 millimeters. Whoops. Let me delete this previous. So that one, and then we'll change this to 10 millimeters. And boom, done. Now we're going to extrude this out. Click in the center there. And we're going to extrude it out 15 millimeters. Check. Well, it didn't do it, so let's try it one more time. $15 millimeters. Enter. Check. Now it says add a 5 millimeter fillet to the edges between the rectangular prism and the cylinder. So we're going to come over here and we're going to find fillet, and we're going to select these edges right here, and we want 5 millimeters. And select that last surface right there, and we'll click check, and we have added in that fillet. Now we're going to go in, and it says add a 5 millimeter by 30 degree chamfer to the bottom of the cylinder. So we're going to come in here and we're going to find chamfer. We're going to distance and angle. We're going to do 30 millimeters, or I'm sorry, 30 degrees by 5 millimeters and 5 millimeters. Hit check, and now we have our little, it looks almost like a top or something. Completed. Once you're finished with that, go ahead and we're going to go to Onshape. And now we're back in this folder. So don't share it with me just yet. We're going to go back to this folder. We're going to hit Create, and we're going to hit Document. And our next steps are to, using the Extrude tool, create a new model for each of the following construction blocks. I'm not going to make you all do these to any certain distance. Just kind of eyeball it. So we're going to do construction blocks. We're going to hit sketch, we're going to go to this front plane, I'm going to hit front, and we'll do the first one, which is like a rectangle, and that looks about right. We'll do a cylinder. It's just like a circle, and that looks about right. And we'll extrude those out because they all look about the same size, so I'm going to extrude these out. do these like 2 inches. Or you could just take this right here and pull on that arrow to where it looks about right. And that looks about right to me. Now to do the last one, I'm going to hit sketch. I'm going to click here on this. Instead of clicking the front plane like I normally do, I'm clicking this right plane, hit check. I'm going to hit sketch. Oh wait, I should have already been in sketch. I'm just going to do the line tool to kind of eyeball that triangle profile. I believe it's the top plane we're writing on, maybe. I'm going to actually redo that last line, so because it didn't connect. If you look right here, you see how this is highlighted? Now that's highlighted, it's connected. Now I'm going to hit extrude, click on that, and again I'm just going to kind of eyeball it and see what looks about right here. 1 inch looks about right. Check. And so now I'm done with those. I'm going to go back to Onshape. I'm still in this folder right here. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to hit create in a new document. And our next document is number 8. It says to give your it says to give your models, and number 7 says to give your models a more realistic appearance, use the Fillet tool to add round edges to the edges of the construction block models where appropriate. Estimate the size of the fillet to look proportional to the other features of your model. So you guys can kind of play around with that and add some fillets to the edges of these to make it look more realistic. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw a cylinder and a half round. And we're going to use the Revolve tool to do that and round the edges of the block to achieve a more realistic appearance. Refer to activity 1.2.1 for measured dimensions of each block. So if we go back over here, the first solid modeling activity, we have those dimensions in. I did it for you. And so if we look right here, we're going to use the Revolve tool. And we can just draw like a half profile here and revolve it around. And so to do that, we're going to go and hit 5 centimeters. So we're going to make a rectangle that's 5 centimeters in height. And then since this is the radius, 1.5 centimeters. And then we're going to revolve it around. So come back over here. We're going to say cylinder. You're going to hit OK. Sketch, front plane. We're going to come over here to corner rectangle, click on that. pull it up, click. We're going to hit dimension. We're going to pull dimension up. And I said that was going to be 1.5 centimeters since that's the radius of it. And then on this side it's going to be 5 centimeters. And you can dimension in a couple different ways. You can click on like the side, or you can click on the 2 points you want to dimension. Just depends, and sometimes it can be kind of finicky. Okay, so then we're going to hit check mark. We're going to come over here and we're going to hit revolve. We're going to click this half profile that we've made. Then we're going to click revolve axis. And we're going to revolve it around. And hit check mark. Now it said to add fillets to make it look more realistic. So I'll come over here and I'm just going to click this and this like bottom one. And we'll just make these like maybe, we'll try like 1 millimeter. Let's see if what that looks like. And I feel like that looks about right. You can kind of use this little bar. Yeah, that looks about right. Go back. We're going to hit create, document, and then it wants the half round. This little guy right here. So we're going to do a rectangle 2 centimeters by 2 centimeters. And then instead of revolving, doing a full revolution, we're just going to do half. And I'll show you what that looks like. So we're going to hit sketch, front plane. Do a corner rectangle. We're going to dimension. That's at 2 centimeters. By 2 centimeters. And then check. Hit revolve. Click the profile, the revolution, and instead of full, we only want, try one. We'll put it one direction, 180. And there's our half round. Now it says to add some fillets in there to kind of make it look more realistic. And so just hit fillet. And I'm going to add one here, 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 on these sides. That side. I'll try that 1 millimeter again. And that looks pretty good. And then go back to Onshape. We're still in this folder. And the last thing I'm going to create is